This is the biggest conundrum, the biggest issue, the biggest problem when it comes to fitness, and there is no way of solving it. There's none.
I know, I'm not going to say, oh, I'm big, he's small. Doesn't matter. Okay. The point of the video is just pointing out the fact that they are ego lifters, right? That is what they care about. They care about moving the most weight possible. That's totally fine. Oh, I'm strict curling the 60s. Okay, but show me your arms though, right? Because I've never strict curled the 60s. And I have 18-inch arms.
I know. I'm not going to say it. Oh, I'm big, he's small. Doesn't matter. Okay.
Now, if you've spent 2 seconds in the gym, literally 2 seconds within the premises of a gym, maybe a bit longer, I'm sure it takes a few moments to really understand this, you would know how cooked the gym can be. The whole gym industry is so freaking cooked. It's a cesspit. It's like arguing over the stupidest stuff, over what's optimal, over what's friggin' cycles to take, over what supplements work, friggin' arguments over which gym brand is the best, having to crap on others to make your gym brand better or seem better in a way, if that makes sense. And it's literally extremely absurd. It's gotten to the point where sometimes it is literally just frigging hard to watch because it is stupid and it drives people to become gym positive creators, if that makes sense. It's, again, absurd, asinine, whatever you want to call it. Now, this was demonstrated recently in the whole SBL situation, science-based lifting, where people were arguing, like I said, over what's optimal, a chest fly or a press.
It will never be optimal. Optimal means best.
Why is a fly better than a press for your chest? Outside of just saying
Optimal means best.
that optimal is a spectrum, I never once said that a press is better than a fly.
But it gets much worse than that, I assure you. So keep watching this video because I will show you what the actual issue is, how it clouds people's judgment, and how, to be honest, it's kind of an unsolvable issue at this point. But first, here's a word from someone that we all know.
I would recommend to all of you subscribe to Cal today and watch this young man keep bringing you the bangers.
Now, before I go to this video, I want to show you 2 people. Without knowing who they are, please try and erase them from your memory just for the sake of this demonstration. And I want you to think to yourself, who would you be more willing to listen to when it came to advice on lifting? There you go. Quite interesting people. Now, I know that you know who they are, most likely, but try and forget them, because again, I'm trying to demonstrate something here. Now, I'm sure in your brain, when you were looking at these 2 guys without prior knowledge of who they are, you're starting to think, oh, if I wanted advice from lifting, I would go to perhaps a specific person. But let me now show you this.
It's funny because people in the comments of that video saying science-based guy has a good physique and he's also happier and he's going to live longer. The other steroided guy look like he's going to die soon. Who is that steroided guy anyway? Yeah, he's just a freaking nobody. Yeah, he's just a nobody. Wait, why is he stood next to Jay Cutler in 2009 when he came second at the Mr. Olympia? Oh yeah.
Now, let me make an assumption for what your brain was thinking throughout that. Now, I'm sure that you're probably going to correct me in the comments, and please do so. But I'm sure at face value, you probably saw both physiques and thought, I would listen to Branch Warren, the one who's actually on stage, because he looks like a sick bodybuilder, he's jacked, and the other guy kind of looks like a little soft and he's muscular, but I'm not entirely sure. That's on face value. Then, of course, a little deeper, you thought, well, that's Jeff Nippard. He has millions of followers on different platforms, exercise scientist as such. Of course, he's very knowledgeable in this realm. And if you would know, he has his pro card in natural bodybuilding, basically. So perhaps you'd be more inclined to think about taking advice off of him because of who Jeff Nippard really is. But then, of course, on that last part, when I showed you that video, Branch Warren came second at the Mr. Olympia, so perhaps you'd be then more inclined to listen to him because he was second at the Olympia, right? Something like that probably occurred. And there is the conundrum right there. I'm hoping that you're getting the gist of what I'm referring to here, because the more jacked someone looks, the better physique that they have, perhaps even more attractive they are when it comes to the gym and bodybuilding perhaps in general, you're more inclined to take advice off of them. Why? Because they're more attractive, they're more muscular, if that makes sense.
For the challenge, I wrote the most effective low volume split I could think of. Upper, lower, rest, upper, lower, arms and delts, rest. In just 1 to 2 sets per exercise, with almost every set taken to failure. I knew from other research that if I was going low on volume, I needed to go ultra high on intensity.
But let's actually analyze their training styles. You have someone like Jeff Nippard, who's kind of flip-flopped between different training patterns over the years, different training splits. He says that he did push-pull legs for a while, as well as some other splits also. He also did a tier list on what the best training split is actually.
But all these splits will work as long as you do, and the best split is the one you'll actually stick to.
But he's come around nowadays to lower volume with higher intensity, sort of in line with Mike Mensa or Dorian Yates in a way. Less volume of training less, but exerting yourself to the highest amount so that you can stimulate that growth. That's kind of what he's come to. Now that is kind of science-based in a way, and I'm sure many people can get on board with that. But again, if you were to look at the two physiques, you would assume that Branch Warren is doing something much more optimal. But let me just show you what his training looked like.
Don't let nobody outwork you. Nobody. Come on. Come on.
So there you go. Did that complicate it even more? You have the idea of, yes, one physique is better than the other, one's accolades are better than the other, but one potentially could be more smarter in training. However, you'd be more inclined to listen to the one who's more jacked and more acclaimed or more accomplished in bodybuilding, just because of the fact that he is more jacked and more accomplished in bodybuilding. And now you understand where I'm going with this. It's demonstrated also throughout the whole of social media. If you were to literally look online, there were loads of people giving out advice, loads of people showing their physiques, loads of people then in turn following them and looking to their word as gospel when it comes to training and whatnot, or simply because their physique is really good. They're very lean, they could be very muscular, they may have had a weight loss transformation, they may just be an attractive person in general, wearing a friggin' Gymshark Onyx top that people think looks cool or something like that, if that makes sense. You see this all over social media. They may not have any accolades, they may not have a PhD that was given to them in 2013 that was actually then revised 12 years later by an Australian bloke. Wait, never mind. But ultimately, people aren't looking at what they know more as what they look like, basically. And the reason why people do this is because, oh, well, I want to perhaps get training advice or diet advice or whatever, so I'm going to go to the person that has the best physique because they know exactly what they're talking about, and I'm going to listen to them and they're going to give me the results. That's kind of the mindset that people have.
So any compound you take will come aside, something aside free. If you need help with your blast in specific, hit me the let's get to work.
And that's good. Obviously, you're not going to go to someone who's skinny or someone who's fat and ask them how they're going to get in shape because they in turn aren't really in shape, if that makes sense. I've seen things of like fat personal trainers or like, you know, I'm sure at your local gym, you've seen personal trainers who aren't in particularly the best shape. And so technically or realistically, you're not going to be going up to them for fitness advice, are you? Let's be honest.
Fitness coaches are supposed to be in shape, right? Well, you'd assume so. And if you came across someone's page like this, regardless of everything else there, you can have your own opinion on that. When you see fitness coach in the bio, you think, okay, this person's probably in shape. They're probably helping a lot of people. There'll be a lot of testimonies on their account, right? Well, doesn't this scream fitness coach? And I can only imagine what someone's reaction would be like if they were recommended this. Well, mate, I'm looking to get in shape and I know that you're into the gym, so I guarantee that you have someone that you can recommend me because, mate, I really need some help. Yeah, mate, of course, I know a guy. He's super good at what he does and he's going to be able to help you out, trust me. Yeah, for sure, man. Let me take a look. Yeah, sure, mate. Here you go. Okay. Huh? Mate, better off going to Mike's hotel at this point.
But when it comes to the case of people on social media, this can be very misleading because, for instance, if you look at someone online who has the best physique that you've seen or one of the best physiques that you've seen, you may be inclined to take fitness advice off of them, but they may have just elite tier genetics. Take Branch Warren, for instance, who we were talking about earlier. He was second at the Mr. Olympia with his training being honestly very bad, and that's because his genetics are just that good. It also helps as well that he's taking steroids, and that's what many other people are doing also when it comes to the realm of social media. They get their physique from basically frigging top tier genetics as well as steroid usage. Of course, they're on top of stuff like their training and their diet also, but they're not fully equipped with the knowledge of how they would actually get that for the average person, someone who doesn't have the best genetics. And so it is kind of misleading for the average person because they think that they're going to look like that. They don't take into consideration stuff like genetics or the usage of steroids. And that's bad because these guys can be selling them utter crap, utter friggin' dog poo, bro. Terrible stuff. They could be giving them friggin' chat GPT courses on how to lose weight, or giving them friggin' fitness advice that they just copied and pasted from someone else, or maybe even advising them to use some performance enhancer well, maybe, I'm sure that happens sometimes. Or in the worst of cases, tying their success to a supplement. Literally just look at this crap.
Hey, Simeon! What are you doing? Snap out of it!
Sorry, I just took my Volcom. Gets the best of me sometimes. Doesn't matter if you're male or female, taking the thermal shred stack is the best way to get lean and stay shredded year round. Simply take 2 Inno Shred and 1 shot of Volcom first thing in the morning, and it's like blowtorching your fat. Only without a blowtorch.
Like when you look at Simeon Panda's physique, can you honestly say that, oh, the reason he's in that shape is because he's taking fat burners? No.
Taking the thermal shred stack is the best way to get lean and stay shredded.
Now again, these situations can actually be quite good. If you want to actually get the knowledge and understanding of these things, you would go to someone who has that knowledge and understanding so that you can learn from them. And in turn, of course, you go to someone who is in shape if you want to know how to lift and get in shape. But this is kind of a bad situation because it gives the guys who are perhaps knowledgeable but don't have the best genetics a bad name. Take someone like Keelan Malloy, for instance. This guy, of course, has a great physique nonetheless, but if you put his physique next to someone like Simeon Panda, for instance, mate, it's a night and day difference. People are probably going to be more inclined to listen to Simeon Panda because he has a better physique over someone like Keenan, but Keenan has better knowledge and understanding when it comes to training and sports science.
Why is a fly better than a press for your chest? Outside of just saying
Optimal means best.
People are going to have the understanding of, oh, this guy's small, so he's not going to have the understanding of how to get big, when he's going to have a better understanding than how to get big than most people would. It's kind of a cook situation because, of course, there are many guys out there who have great information, not these little science-based stuff for kids. These guys who have great information, who don't particularly have as good a physique as someone who doesn't have as good information, basically, but people aren't going to be as inclined to talk to them because they don't look as good. Look at it as someone perhaps renting a Lamborghini and then selling courses on how to get rich. It's an easy way for them to get money. They probably don't have the most knowledge on how to build a business or how to do perhaps proper networking or making money or investing or friggin' any of these things. But because they have the Lamborghini and they take the pictures in Miami and whatnot, you're more inclined to listen to that person because they have the accomplishments that you would have from being in that position and having that knowledge, if that makes sense. If you have that knowledge of how to get money, then most likely you'll have a nice car, so I'm going to listen to you because you're going to tell me how to get in that same position. Same thing with these guys who are telling you to buy fat burners because that's how they got in shape.
Taking the thermal shred stack is the best way to get lean and stay shredded.
And let's look at it like this. Let's be honest. I'm not the most jacked guy. Here's a picture of me with a pump. Yes, I don't look that big now, but that's just a thing of naturals. You don't look that big when you're just in a t-shirt, but okay, fine. There you go. I look like that. If I was friggin' jacked, I would have a lot more followers on social media. That's just kind of how it is. I could be friggin' splurging the most stupid information to you right now, but if I was jacked, people would be more inclined to listen to me. That's just kind of how it is on social media. And now I'm sure you have an understanding of what I'm trying to get to in this video. I want to make a point in saying that this is kind of an unsolvable problem. You technically just cannot solve this off. There's nothing that you can do in this situation to make it better in a way, if that makes sense. Yes, of course, you can keep calling out these guys for selling crap products and sort of correlating that with their success or their physique. Yes, of course, there are guys who can just continue to get smarter, get more accomplishments and accolades through perhaps testimonies of getting other people in shape and getting people and coaching people to a better level in bodybuilding. And of course, all we can do as people who maybe aren't the most jacked, because I'm sure there's going to be some jacked guys watching this video, but people who aren't particularly the most jacked, just to get more jacked. I'm being a bit facetious, but of course, getting in better shape as well as getting a better knowledge base is going to put most people in a better position when it comes into the fitness industry, if that's what people want to do. But ultimately, you're not going to change people's psyche and the consensus of the general populace when it comes to, if I want to get in shape, who am I going to go talk to? Who do I want to listen to? People who are in the best shape, regardless if they're taking steroids or if they have 0.1% genetics.